was so vicious. And I don't have to show riches to pull off with some bad bitches. And it ain't about chivalry, it's about dope lyrics and delivery. It's about my persona. Ain't nothing like a man that can do what he wanna. Ain't nothing like a man that you knew on the corner. Seen come up and fuck up the owner. Seen throw up Westside California. Nigga, I'm hot as Phoenix, Arizona. I'm Utah, I got multiple bitches. It's a new law. Keep a hold of your riches. Dumb nigga, don't spin it. As soon as you get it and recognize I'm a captain, you a lieutenant.
Permanent Patriot here. You may remember this from some of the Agenda 21 videos that I've posted. Well, here's the schmuck again. So, why don't you just go ahead and have a listen to this for yourself?
You know, the fact of the matter is that people have too much space in their houses, and we could just share our space with other family members. We would reduce our housing needs right there. And I think the number of housing units needed is a lot less than people think, because the old standard for housing is basically circa 1980, when people all lived in their own independent apartments or independent housing units. There was no doubling up at that time. And that's probably never going to be seen again in America. We're always going to be, well, you know, we have assimilation going on in LA right now. You know, assimilation is a two-way street. And so we're all living to live like Asians, with multi-generational families. That's the American way now.
It feels to me like the government is planning for poverty. Long term, 30, 40, 50 years from now, they're planning for poverty.
Okay, now, right off the bat, you notice that they're casually talking about this. You know, no big deal. But you'll see how bills like this, AB 32, passed in 2006, and it's facilitating all this change, which is why the BLM is taking over all the fucking land over here, so rapidly and so violently, is because they want that fucking land, because this is where the simulation is starting. Period. And if you watch my man Grindel, he always says, he's always talking about this shit, and he's done videos on how close they are. They're right in his fucking county. They already started doing this. And if I could find that video, I'm gonna post that too. So let's hear what else they got to say.
It really brought in lots of elements of the future, and how much things have changed. Is the future is coming very slowly.
Oh, it is, huh?
Or it was coming very slowly until about 2005, and then it really speeded up. And what was it in 2005? Well, just roughly around that time, I think the invention of the smartphone was a key ingredient.
Claiming that the advent of the smartphone is a key ingredient as to why we are seeing the sudden trend of revitalization, redevelopment. This whole redevelopment scheme is about building a control grid where our lives are managed by the state. He's telling you that the smartphone is going to be a big part as to why this is happening. Okay, so for the rest of this video, you'll see how the latest technology due to come out in 2016 is going to be the next phase.
You know,
the dumbing down of America.
Reality Google.
And yes, these fucking
It's interesting because I've never
virtual
been
glasses.
Them
I was just telling you about them last night.
You're saying that there's a possibility that we can enjoy them.
Like we, like grown-ups?
Like we, meaning people that don't do games.
We, not 13-year-old boys?
Yes.
Yes, and indeed. What we're talking about here is virtual reality.
And they're indoctrinating the man,
The Oculus
making the man
is one of the big
like a little
dogs out there.
fucking
There you're
wussy.
seeing it. So you see this face mask, you're seeing
folks, if you put
headphones,
one of
and
these on
creates a virtual reality
for even a
sensation.
minute,
This is kind of what you
you'll
see there.
notice it
You
when you
can
take it
turn
off.
your head 360
Imagine having
degrees
that shit on
and
all
see things. You
fucking
can look
day.
up, you can look down. You're basically creating an entire virtual world in there. Oculus was purchased by Facebook for $2 billion last year. Time, a lot of us are thinking, what does Facebook know that the rest of us don't? Well, we're going to get a sense of that in the first quarter of next year, because that's when finally Oculus is saying the consumer version of this, there's been a developer version,
really?
the consumer version will finally
Is that
be
what's happening?
And answer your question, Lou, obviously gamers are going to just have a tizzy fit about this because it's going to be so cool, but what else can we do with it?
Can you imagine somebody wearing this shit for fucking 18, 20 hours
You're talking about also virtual travel, where you put this on and actually be able to go places. Virtual museum visits are also a very big deal. Imagine being able to go to the Smithsonian and interact with all the exhibits virtually without having to leave home, without having to leave home, without having to leave home. That's also a very big deal.
Socializing with that on, I'm not sure.
No,
We'll probably end up opening a bar where they will all have those things.
Here's how it's going to work. Your KTLA viewers are going to get on there, and they're going to put on their Oculus Rift, and they're going to be watching
Can you
the
take
Olympic
any more,
and they're going to be able to
folks?
look this way and that way and see us. Oh, hi, Mom. Like that.
Really interesting.
It is kind of cool.
It is.
You can take a vacation to Hawaii, a 2-week vacation in 60 minutes.
I think the biggest question here is how is the intersection of the recession with the social change going to really amplify it? Imagine if the baby boomers had grown up in the Great Depression. That's what we're thinking about here. So now the millennials are growing up in the Great Recession and the lingering effects thereof. And I think that a lot of their behaviors, which might have been temporary, are beginning to seem like habits. And the longer they engage in these temporary habits, the more entrenched they become.
Temporary habits, right?
I think that at least half of them are going to end up living in houses in the suburbs. But it used to be 3/4. Now it's only half. The other half, we don't know what they're going to do. But I think they're going to be living in your apartments that you're going to be putting on top of the rail stations on the 1% of the land. Is that what you said, 1%? It's going to house them all together there, and they're going to love doing it because you're going to have a coffee shop on every corner, and you're going to
There
have,
you have it, folks.
all of everything they need self-contained in these little urban villages, which are absolutely essential because traffic congestion will stop them from ever leaving their village.
There you have
We
it,
see it
folks.
today already. It's very hard to get our dean to come out of Santa Monica. He's sort of trapped on other side of the 405, but he carpools with his wife, and they have a route they sneak out, every morning early, and they go back, before it gets dark. People live in these villages. Trina lives in the Pasadena village.
Did you hear that, folks? He says he has a friend who lives on the other side of the 405 in Santa Monica, and he has to sneak across the 405 every day to go to work. They already got that shit in place in parts of the fucking state. You know somebody down by Santa Monica? 'Cause I do. Grindle. And he's done videos on this shit. They got Agenda 21 already starting, putting people in little fucking, not putting them literally, but I mean, marking territories. I'm gonna find that video that Grindle did. And if I find it, I'll put it up afterwards. Hear what else he got to say.
Of me. So I see him more than I see anybody who lives in the Culper City village. So we're going to have more of that villageization, I don't know what to call it, of the Skag area, and I think we'll all be happier for it.
Yeah. There you go, folks. That is called
It is a very
indoctrination.
exciting time because the future has speeded up, and it's a good time for you to. It happens on your watch, so it's a great time for us that you're watching it and you're on command, because the changes that are going to occur right now are probably going to set in place a pattern for the next 30 years, and it's happening in a very compressed time frame. So the future is happening all of a sudden now very rapidly, and I'm glad I can sit back and watch it. So, how would you explain all the remaining problems you have to solve?
And maybe next talk, but I would just, in a great nation like ours, you can't let people do what they want. It has to be coordinated. In a great nation like ours, you can't let people do what they want. It has to be coordinated.
It has to be coordinated, folks. You can't do what you want. What the fuckity fuck? Anybody got a problem with that?
That's right, exactly. And we know one of the keys to helping that empire is creating jobs for the 21st century. And those jobs are going to be, based on STEM learning. Those jobs that are going to have technology components to them. We know that those are the types of forward-thinking jobs that we need to support. The key is how do we ensure that our teachers have the ability to teach that, ensure that our people
Indoctrinating the teacher. Folks, indoctrinating everybody. Agenda 21. Herding into cities. So I'm pretty sure that this is Grindel's video from about the Agenda 21 thing. I mean, the one that I was just talking about, because he's got a lot of videos on this. But here's the Agenda 21 map. But according to Grindel, this is already
high-rise in downtown LA. It actually will be a high-rise that will do some very cool things. We're getting our first look at it right now. Take a look at that. This is over in the historic core of downtown LA. We're told this is about 4th Street as well as Hill Street. It's called Beacon on the Hill. The very cool thing about this thing is that it's 33 stories tall.
Close to 20,000 new units underway in downtown, and where the population is expected to hit 50,000 in the next 5 years. That's going to be...
By the way, I seen one of these when I first moved out here in Davis, and I'm sure that's what they were building. It's fucking huge. Apartment place or some kind of place like that, right off of the main street there, Calvine or some shit like that. And they're building these all over the country.
Compared to 10,000 in 1999, so the growth has just been explosive. And let's show you the 2 new groundbreakings taking place this morning that were part of a couple of celebrations. The first one...
Okay, there's a lot of them. I don't think it was that old. Oh. I'm gonna find it. Well, Grindel's got a plethora of shit. I can't find it. So, you'll be able to find it, and I'm sure I've got it. The same thing that he's had in my video somewhere. But, here's this for now, and see if you recognize anybody in here.
And with the Earth, and they're now on a track where we can envisage a sustainable and secure future.
We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America.
H. Congress 353 outlines a comprehensive national strategy for sustainable development in accordance with the principles of Agenda 21 to be coordinated under the leadership of a specific office and at the direction of a high-level government official. The resolution also urges the United States to identify and initiate further agreements to protect the global environment and to support the creation of a high-level United Nations Sustainable Development Commission headed by an Undersecretary General.
There is right now today a
$1
trillion untapped market for existing alternative energy and energy conservation technologies.
Making headlines, a bankruptcy court hearing is scheduled in Delaware today for California solar energy company Solyndra. The company laid off 1,100 workers and filed for Chapter 11 protection last year, despite receiving more than $500 million in federal loan guarantees. Last week there was a great story about, did you see that they reclassify the green jobs?
It's the end of the line for Abound Solar. The solar panel maker will close down next week, lay off 125 people, and leave taxpayers with a huge tab, could total tens of millions of dollars. Now, Abound is based in Loveland. The company used $70 million of a $400 million federal loan guarantee to expand its plant not only here, but build a new one in Indiana. Now, the best guess is taxpayers will be on the hook for somewhere between $40 million and $60 million.
Folks, That is happening all over the country. Are you fucking catching on yet? Be doing some more of this, don't worry. God bless and carry on.
You're looking at the Grand Wizard, Warlord, vocal cords so vicious. And I don't have to show riches to pull off with some bad bitches. And it ain't about chivalry, it's about dope lyrics and delivery.
Members, we would reduce our housing needs right there. And I think the number of housing units needed is a lot less than people think. Because the old standard for housing is basically circa 1980, when people all lived in their own independent apartments or independent housing units. There was no doubling up at that time.
About my persona, ain't nothing like a man that can do what he wanna. Ain't nothing like a man that you knew on the corner. Seen come up and fuck up the owner. Seen throw up Westside California. Nigga, I'm hot as Phoenix, Arizona. I'm Utah, I got multiple bitches. It's a new law. Keep a hold of your riches. Dumb nigga, don't spend it. As soon as you get it and recognize I'm a captain, you a lieutenant.
Permanent Patriot here. You may remember this from some of the Agenda 21 videos that I've posted. Well, here's the schmuck again. So, why don't you just go ahead and have a listen to this for yourself?
You know, the fact of the matter is that people have too much space in their houses, and we could just share our space with other family